Hey guys, J77 here, doing another diary video, pretty much continuing what some of the events that happened during the summertime. I'm going to talk a little bit about my job, a little bit what's been going on the last 7, 8 months I've been working here, give you a feel of the pros and cons of commission jobs, as well as basically who I will only recommend these jobs for. Now, for obvious reasons, because I'm still working there, I'm going to be changing the name. I'm going to be calling it Bob Tours, just to be on the safe side, because you never know who's looking at this and may take this the wrong way. But this is again my own personal view, based on my own experience working with the people I work. Basically, I started working with this tour company, Bob's Tour Company, for about a good few months. I started in March. It is now September, so I hang in there. It is a very rough job, considering that you are working straight commission. From what I understand, they will do like a few months where you're actually getting paid a salary, but for the most part, right on to spring to summer, and even parts of fall, you're working pretty much on your own power to sell as many tickets as possible. Um, they pretty much set this straight up when you get to the door. This is one of the things they tell you in human resources, that you are working straight commission, but there's no cap. Which in many ways, when you hear that, it says, "Oh, it's good. I can sell as many tickets as you if you can." There's tourists is high in this state in the city of New York, and you can come out anywhere between 800 to even $4,000, which a lot of people in this business do. Uh, However, there is a catch. One, you are at the mercy of the machine, which means is if the prices are too high, which can happen, or if there was something that they were looking for and you don't have it, versus the competition who may have it along with the tour buses, they may go there. Also, your ability to speak to people. You can't talk too fast. You can't talk too slow. You have to speak in a way that they can understand you, even if their English is not great. That is something that doesn't happen overnight. A lot of people think that by talking to people um, and just saying, "Well, it's nice jazz," actually will get them tickets. It actually takes a skill to be a sales rep, and that's what you really are. You're a ticket agent, but you're also a sales rep, because you're not only selling tickets, you're also pretty much representing the company, representing the city of New York, and you have to be knowledgeable of certain areas that your location is, which leads me to the third situation. Location for a ticket agent is very, very important. And the reason is that you can have one place where business is booming. You're selling tickets left and right. You can come in, feeling happy, feeling great. You just sold anywhere from 30 to 300 tickets. That's an easy 800, $900 in your pocket, and that all because of the location. You can have a location where you're pretty much struggling, where you have to pretty much have a vocal voice, and become even at times aggressive in terms of how you make your sales pitch, which lead to the other situation is pretty much being there, talking to people, being nice to people even when they're not being so nice, and just basically communication, because this is whether you know or not. A lot of times, tourists move away from a ticket agent because they're either A, too aggressive, B, too mean, or C, even have a mean face. You'd be surprised. Facial expression alone can easily turn a person about face. So that's one of the things that people have to be aware of. Now, from my experience, I have done fast food restaurants for 10 years, so I've seen it all. I have done clerical work for a good 6 months under my internship with my college, so I'm already familiar with customer service and how to control one's temper when someone is in the wrong, but you cannot, get into any major scuffles, because after all, you're representing the company, and even though he's wrong, you will be the one end up at the wrong end of the stick if you react in such a way that can be hurtful, not only towards the customer, but also towards the business, and that's one thing the business do not tolerate anywhere. With that being said, man, was I tested in this job. Like I said, um, where I'm at is straight commission, and being that prices are not the most cheapest in the world, you are facing a lot of competition. The slower the day, the more aggressive those competition become to the point where cutthroat has happened. People sadly lying about a ticket they don't have happens, and pretty much getting into a lot of scuffles over pretty much nonsense. Being a ticket agent, it has its advantage, but it also has its disadvantage because it does bring out the worst in people. It brings out all the worst in people in such a large degree that you just it just shakes your head, and yet you have to pretty much know how to control it because one fight will get you fired. That's one thing that the company does not tolerate, especially if it brings a bad image. One of the companies, who's actually not even a bus agent company but sells attractions, is on the verge of losing their contract with Empire State because of this, because they're constantly getting into fights with the competition. They're constantly police being called to the scene to break things up, and being the fact that Empire's now hired double security, they're going to cut their losses, and this is something that a company won't accept, nor what the places that the attractions are being sold will accept. One of the things that we have learned, because I'm at Empire State, is to learn to how to work together. We know we're in competition with each other, but we still got to work together because if we get into any obstacles, and Rockefeller will immediately kick us out. They got the police force right there on campus, got cameras, so they know what's going on, what's happening, and what we can do, not do. And that's the thing that we have to be careful. But every now and then we get these arguments, and it's heated, and it's very very heated because, like I said, when we see a new person coming through, when we see people cutting each other's throat just to try and sell a ticket or lie about a ticket, or even so discredit the other, you're gonna have that, and that's because one, they see it as you're taking food off their table, and two, you're basically disrespecting them in a large degree, and that's something that it sadly does happen a lot with these agencies. Um, like I said, it's a commission job. Commission jobs are not the most glamorous in the world, and the only reason why I pick a commission job at this time, because I am searching for something else that is more stable, more of a paycheck salary, is because I had a large gap on my resume, and this is the actual truth. A lot of businesses won't take you because the first thing they say, well, what have you been doing these last few years? Why is he having a big gap? So for me, it was more of getting my resume updated, getting more experience in the field that I want to do, and in the end of the day, while I'm still in employment, because it's a known secret, bosses like to take people who are working, not when they're not working. I can able to move to another job that is better and more stable. I'm not to say I regretted my decision of working for this company. There's actually I've had gotten good experience just on the first 8 months alone. I really have learned a lot of new things about New York that I surprisingly didn't know about, and I lived here all my life. Um, and I actually met some real good people, and I actually had the chance of speaking to a lot of people all across the globe. We had people coming from Australia, Korea, um, pretty much Dutch. We had a lot of people from all over the place, and it was good talking to them, getting to actually know the culture, Canada, and that's cool. That's where it's supposed to be, and I have no regret of that. And you really get to have a taste of culture because what they share a lot of stuff with you that you probably don't know that blows your mind. At the same time, by me talking to them, I share a lot of stuff that they didn't know, especially with my neighborhood in New York, something that probably even the tour guide doesn't know. So to me, I don't regret it at all. I think this actually helped me a great deal. Now, the big ass question is, who do I recommend a job for? Well, it really all depends. Um, I will say this. I recommend someone to take a tour, a ticket agent job if they want to put extra cash in their pocket, understandingly that the seasons do change. I also would recommend those who's looking for work and can't find none and has a big gap on their shoulder, especially those who do have felonies in their hands. I would recommend you guys at least give it a try. And I tell you right now, having a little change in your pocket is something better than nothing, and at least it shows on your resume. It shows that you're trying to make an effort to be more productive in society. All right. Um, and just those who really um, or have way too much free time and wants to do it. But I also put word of caution. This is commission. This is not a get rich quick scheme. Trust me when I say that. Like I said before, people do come out making anywhere from $8 to $4,000. But keep in mind of the locations they're in. And the one thing I always drive me nuts, and these guys do it on purpose because they want to, show off the other guys who are not making as much as the next person is, because they're coming in selling average of 30 tickets or 300 tickets. I always say to them, that's great, that's wonderful, that's beautiful, I'm happy for you. But understand this, there's going to come a time where you may not be in that location no more, and you're going to end up in a location that you're not seeing the same numbers. You are seeing a probably 75% drop. And when that happens, you're going to ask yourself, is it because your skills are not what they're for? Was it because of the location that you were to begin with? Little tip, the top best locations are always going to be Battery Park, 42nd Street and 8th Avenue, and pretty much Canal Street in Manhattan. The best spots are also any first stop of the bus, because the bus is already there. The tourist sees it, they're interested about it, they want to acquire information about it, and if they want to take or want your bus, they'll take it. So those are always going to be the favorite spots. If you're in the middle of Times Square, between let's just say 46th Street to 42nd Street, the chances are you're going to struggle, because there are hundreds of ticket agents out there, almost 2 blocks long, apart from each other. So you're gonna really have to hope that someone did not catch a particular group of people and you caught them to make your money. And trust me when I say this, it is 10 times harder. People always assume that Times Square is the big money maker for ticket agents. It's not. It is actually the worst spot for ticket agents, especially if it's not the first stop. And believe me when I say this, and this is something that has happened constantly, happened to me, happened to a lot of people. When you try to attempt to sell at the first stop, there will be senior ticket agents that will try for you out. Yeah, it's that deep. It is a heavy competitive market, and every ticket agent knows they trying to make ends meet at all times. And senior ticket agents is just not having it. If you don't have a station there, you're not stationed down there, and it's very hard to get a spot down there, because most of the first stops are seniors, those who've been in the game for years. They're not going to tolerate no one going in there who's been there for 2 months. It's just not going to go down that way. But those are the big heavy spots. If you're in any other spots after that, you're really going to have to work hard to get that ticket. And it's not impossible to get a good turnout, but it is also, but keep in mind, you're all working hard, and you really got to show yourself. If you're sitting down not doing anything, you're not going to get any tickets. That's how simple it is. Again, it's not for everybody. Being a ticket agent is not for everybody. And like I said, it is a dark side to that, because of the competition. There's a lot of fights still happening, even amongst ourselves. Most of the time, it is among ourselves, because of the seriousness of it. But if you're good at it and you know how to sell, it could actually work for you, especially when you're trying to build your resume to move on to bigger and better things. But like I said, I was tested. I was very tested, and to me, it shows a lot about what that business does. It really does. It shows just how greedy one person is, that they're willing to step on someone else's toes to get a ticket, even though they have sold dozens upon dozens of tickets. They don't want you to sell, because to them you're munching into their profits. You have those people, unfortunately. I have had people actually literally say that I wasn't a real ticket agent, even though I worked for the same company. And these were people who was working with me. It took a real good guy to say, "Hey, look, enough of that, man. We all have to start from somewhere. Why are you messing up his sales?" And that was launched because a lot of people didn't want me there. And that was when we had a very special bus at the time. We don't have that bus anymore, but we had a very special bus at the time. And because I was selling exclusively for that bus, not to mention for other buses, they felt that I'm not a ticket agent. He's not red. Um, make sure he doesn't get any ticket sales. That's how it goes down. It's pretty much a bully tactic. That's what it is. But things actually calmed down. Things have actually come to a respectable agreement, and we basically just do what we gotta do just to get to the day, try to make ends meet. There are some days that are really, really good. They are really, really prosperous. There's other days that you say, why the hell did I came outside? I think the worst for any ticket agent, and this is actually true, is working 9 hours and you did not get a paycheck. That actually happens where no one opened their machines. Um, it is not a good feeling. It is very discouraging, and I know a lot of people who quit because of that. A lot of people actually quit the tour type because they came in with nothing. And this is why I always tell people this is not a get rich quick scheme. All right, if you can make a living out of selling tickets for the tour buses, that's great. I'm happy for you. But if you know you can't, I advise you to make sure you have another job lined up to make this one pretty much your chump change job, and the next second job be the major thing for bills and other stuff you need to live on. But to me, it's all about the decisions you make in terms of this job. Know what you're getting into when it comes to these jobs. Some jobs also, this is very important, do have salaries when it comes at a price. Those who have salary ticket agents has to make a quota because they get paid that plus commission. And if you don't make that quota after a certain amount of time, they will terminate you. That has happened. There's other jobs that just go straight commission. Those, they're not going to terminate you, but keep in mind, if you don't make no money, you don't sell no tickets, you make no money. And like I said, many people have happened that as a result, the turnout is very high, more higher for those who work a straight commission than those who are not. So um, that's pretty much all I can tell you. That's the pros and cons of being a tour bus ticket agent. That's all I got to say about this topic. I'll be back for another topic soon. Hope you take that in consideration for those. And for those who are coming to New York, I got one tip of advice for you. Always look at the competition. Always look at what the prices they have, and as well as ask yourself, what's the pros of going to this particular bus company, and what's the cons of going to particular bus companies. There's always a certain catch to it. So, with that being said, this is J77 saying take care, be safe, and I talk to you soon.